Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels, and thank you to our supporters Mr Fothergill Seeds and Cobra Garden. This week we're back on mowing duty. I'm going to be checking the borders and we've got a treat for lunch coming out of the vegetable garden. Hello and welcome to Pots and Trowels. I don't know about you, but we've had some fresh, cooler weather and some rain over the last couple of weeks, and it's really perked up the garden. What was going brown and dry is now suddenly green again, including the lawn. So I've got the lawnmower out because I hadn't used it for a couple of weeks, and I'm now cutting, and the grass has greened up literally overnight almost. So I'm using the mulch plug, which fits in the back. I've mentioned it before. So I'm not collecting the clippings. This just stops them going out the back. It chops them up very finely, blows them down. The nitrogen feeds the lawn and it keeps the grass green. And the secret is to mow little and often with this when the grass is growing, not too close, and you'll keep the lawn nice and green and lush all summer, just like it is here. So I'm really pleased we've had the rain. But there's some other bits we can do while we're in the border as well. It's also worth keeping an eye on your borders just to make sure everything's okay. And deadheading is something you can do little and often whenever you need it. And just down here we've got this little hardy geranium that flowers in late spring and early summer. It's finished now, pretty little blue flowers when it is in flower, but it always looks a bit tatty. And this is one that if you leave the seed pods on, it seeds everywhere and you get them popping up all over the garden. So literally all I do with it is, with a pair of secateurs, it's just a case of going in and giving it a trim back, just to tidy it up, and that gets rid of all the seed pods, but it also means that the other plants around it, like these lovely astrantia, have got a bit more room to grow. So that's something that you can certainly do whenever anything needs deadheading, and they will go on the compost heap, chop them up, and they will rot down. The other thing that I want to keep an eye on are perennials that grow fairly tall, and this lovely delphinium here is going to be a picture in just a couple of weeks' time. It's got, I don't know, there must be a couple of dozen spires on there that with these beautiful blue flowers, but they are prone to falling over. I have already put some supports in there low down, but I'm going to double check that everything is secure, and you need to do that with any tall perennials. So you can use all sorts of things. These type of hoops that are pre-bent are okay to push in the ground around them, just to give them some support and hold them tight. You can use these taller ones. These are these plastic coated wire ones, and they link together to make a framework that you can push in the ground. So you can make it as large or small as you want, and you just push that in around the plants. So they're really good as well, and they come in various heights. Or you could just use garden canes, push them in around the clump that you want nice and firmly, and then loop some string round. But it is important, because I can guarantee if you don't, just when they're at their best, we'll get some rain and they'll be flattened. So do that. But I'm going to pop into the veg garden next and just do a few bits and bobs in there. Well, the veg plot has also really benefited from the rain over the last few weeks, and again everything is really looking lush and growing. You can water all you want from the tap, but it's rainwater that seems to seep in so much better, and the plants, you know, can take so much out of it. Potatoes are doing well, all the root crops, the legume bed, everything's growing well. I'm really pleased with it, and it's only a matter now of a week or two before we start harvesting from the garden. The potatoes in the garden I think are pretty much ready to dig, but I'm going to leave them for a while because I've got some in pots that I want to use first. These we planted way back in probably late March. We put these in pots, just one potato in a pot like this. So I thought we would knock it out and see what is in there. There might not be anything, so in which case I'm going to look a fool. Oh dear, can't see much there. Hopefully, oh yes, there are some potatoes. Let's see what we're going to get. So these are an early potato. I think this one is an old variety that I grow called Home Guard, and they look lovely potatoes. There's quite a few nice roots on there. That's the original one that we planted, and you can see compared to a nice new potato. So that's the seed potato. That now needs throwing away. Just give that a shake. Oh wow, it's a good root of potatoes. Mrs. Fish will be delighted. I know what I'm going to be having for my tea tonight. So just shake them all out. The little ones can all be eaten as well. There we go. So That can go on the compost heap as long as it's not diseased, and that's nice and healthy. And there we can see we've got a lovely boiling of potatoes just there. Now you might think what a waste of compost this is, and it's not. There's another one there, keep finding potatoes. I'm going to use this again because I grow salads in it, and I've just got here a shallow bowl. Any pots can be used. Potatoes will have used most of the nutrients in this compost, but it doesn't matter because salads and lettuce don't like high nutrient levels. So this is perfect to recycle the compost. So I'm just going to fill that almost to the top, just lightly firm it down, take any bits of root out. So it's really simple to do. And then what I'm using is just one of these cut and come lettuces, the ones with a mixture of lettuces. You keep pulling them and cutting them there. And I'm just going to sprinkle these very thinly over the surface, just like this. So all over. You don't need lots because we're not going to thin them out. We're just going to pick them as they grow and get to a couple of inches tall. So just a light sprinkling of seed over there, like that. A little bit of compost. Tap it down, keep it watered. That's fine outside, and in 2 or 3 weeks we'll have lovely lettuce leaves we can eat. So we're recycling the compost from the potatoes. And finally, just a reminder, now it's the 3rd week in June, so it's time to stop cutting asparagus. We've been cutting it for the last 6 or 7 weeks. It's been delicious. What we do now is let it grow, let all that ferny foliage develop. That will feed the roots, so next year we get a crop. So if you've got any to cut it now, and no more after today, promise. The other thing is to make sure that you protect the crops in the garden, because birds and lots of pests will damage your really lovely crops that you've grown. Things like all your cabbages and your brassicas. So what I do is I put netting over them to keep not only the pigeons off, but to keep the butterflies from laying their eggs on them. And I'm also protecting soft fruit. The raspberries, gooseberries are starting to ripen, the red currants are turning red, so they're in the fruit cage. If you haven't got a fruit cage, don't worry, just get some fleece or netting and drape it over them. And we're also going to put the netting on our cherries on the wall, because as soon as they start and turn red, I can guarantee the starlings and the blackbirds will be there. So it is a case of just keeping your eye on things, making sure they're not damaged, and then you get the benefits of all your hard work later on in the season. So there you have it, the last asparagus of the season, the first new potatoes and a couple of fresh eggs from this young lady, and I've got the ingredients for a warm asparagus salad. I'll put a picture on Facebook for you to look at. We'll be back again soon when we're going to be visiting a garden in Nottinghamshire, so we'll see you then. Bye. Going to lay me an egg then.